Alright, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to make our first 3D model, and we're going to use something called additive modeling. Basically that means we take a part, we create it, and then we add more things to it to get it to look the way we want to. There's another method called subtractive we'll cover in the next video. Basically start with a part and remove things until you get what you're looking for. This is the part we're trying to create right here. So let's go over here and start by clicking part, because we're going to want a regular part file. Now we're going to click Start 2D Sketch, and we want to build on our XY plane. You can see we have our front view, and I'm going to push the middle button, the red circle, and just kind of drag this over here so it's more in the center. Now I'm going to click the line tool, and I'm going to just roughly outline the part that I have. Not worried too much about the details of what it looks like. Now we notice that, like most of my lines are good, we see these little things around that show that these are perpendicular, but this line is not quite what I want. So I am going to use one of my geometric constraints to get this line to be a little bit more like what I want it to. So up here is the perpendicular geometric constraint. So I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to click on this line, and I want this line to be perpendicular. Okay? Now it looks like all my lines are pretty well perpendicular, so I'm going to come in and I'm going to add dimensional tolerances. This is pretty much just like it was when we were drawing them, which is why we did it there. So we click on the line we want to dimension and we drag it over. This line is supposed to be 1.5 inches tall. We see that right here on our print. So I'm going to type in 1.5. Okay? Now this got really big and off the screen. Don't freak out. That just means the object has gotten to the right size. If we come up here next and we dimension and we hit 1.5, you see that that did not work quite the way we wanted to. This is now longer than this area. There's a couple things we can do, but I think the best thing to do is to hit Control Z, which is undo, or you can push the little undo button up here. And instead we're going to come down and we're going to dimension this bottom line. Now this bottom line is this line right here. It's supposed to be 1.5 plus 0.75. Now, I don't feel like doing the math, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in 1.5 plus 0.75 and hit enter. Okay? And now, again, it got really big. That's okay, because it just went to 2.25, which is the right measurement. Now I come back up here, and I'm going to make that 1.5 like I wanted it to be. Right now we look at this object and we see we have a lot of blue lines. This is what we call almost fully constrained. This object right here though needs one more dimension to get it fully constrained. We probably need to tell it how long one of these lines are. It knows that this line should be 3/4 of an inch. It doesn't know how tall this line should be. But because both lines are the same, I'm going to come up and I'm going to click the equals tool. I'm going to say this line should be the same size as this line. And now we have a fully constrained box. See how it's all blue and down here it says fully constrained? If you've done that, you've done well. So now I hit Finish Sketch, and it zooms in. I can never figure out why it does that. Click the house and it'll zoom out. Click Extrude and it will extrude it. The extrude box will pop up on your screen, and for a lot of you it'll look like this. Just click the down arrow and change that number to 0.75, and we have our first three-dimensional box. Okay? Now what we need to do is we need to add another 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch shape here. This is the additive method. So I'm going to click Start 2D Sketch, and I'm going to click on that, and this time I'm going to draw a rectangle and just make it easy on myself. I'm going to do that, and again I want both lines to be equal, so I'm going to make them both equal, and I'm going to click Dimension, and I'm going to say that this one should be 0.75. Now look, down here it says fully constrained. That's all blue, so everything looks good. I hit Finish Sketch, I hit Extrude. It automatically selected that box and made it 0.75. I say OK, and we're done. This is your first additive model.